Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and welcome to PlayLoad. This is almost all my video game pickups for the month of September 2016. I have a little bit of a preamble. If you're not interested, you just want to see the games and stuff on the table, no problem, I got you covered. Time code, go ahead and skip to that just to see games. Otherwise, okay, you're still here. So if you guys saw last month's PlayLoad, you'll know that my summer has been absolutely insane. I've been flown out to a lot of conventions and press events and all these things. It's been awesome. I've been all over the country. I've been to other countries. It's just been crazy. It's been tiring, but it has been a lot of fun. And so this month was also pretty insane as well. This month started by me going out to AVGC, a video game con, or convention obviously, in New Jersey, which was an awesome convention, and I will have a video on that coming up soon. I haven't had time to make it yet, but yeah, all the stuff I picked up at that convention, not going to be in this video. It was a shit ton of fun though, man. I got to hang out with a bunch of different YouTubers. Some of them are like pre-existing friends now. Some of them are newer friends. Like I'll give you some examples. Shane, aka Rerez, one of my best friends. But also, you know, Norm, the gaming historian, Pat, the NES punk, James Rolfe a little bit. Just briefly, kind of interacted with him. As well as I did a panel with again Shane, but also who else? It was Review Tech USA. Rich, Justin from Silvermania, and 8-Bit Eric from, I believe he's on the Game Chasers. But yeah, so yeah, I got to hang out with all of them. That was pretty cool. And David Crossan, who is the co-founder of Classic Game Room, and just a bunch of other people. It was overall a really cool convention, and I really hope they want me back next year. And from the sounds of it, they will. At least what I was told. So there you go. But yeah, so I got to do that, and then I came back to Chicago, and then I'm sure at some point I went up to Wisconsin, because I had to fucking go to Wisconsin all the time. And then it's, I think like a few days later, I was actually sent out to San Francisco again, for the third time in like 30 days. Just saying. For another press event. This time Ubisoft brought me out to play Watch Dogs 2. We got to play it for about an hour. And the footage of that game, if you want to see it, we did a video on it on my other channel, so you can check that out. It was pretty cool. I enjoyed the game. Again, I only got to play for like an hour, but I did enjoy it. And so I got back to Chicago on the 21st at like 6 a.m. and went home, slept for like 2 hours, and then I had to get up and start doing a bunch of work. And then basically that day we were going to film the most ridiculous video we've ever filmed on my other channel. A fan had sponsored us to make a live action video of, I won't give spoilers, a live action video that basically it involves the other two guys, not me thankfully, who had to dress up as cheerleaders and play a Kinect game. It was funny. But yeah, that was insane. And then the next day, had a little bit of time on my hands. Thankfully, I got to go shopping in that little time. Right before I went up to Toronto, Canada, again for the Waterloo video game swap. And so everything I got at the Waterloo video game swap will not be in this video. Again, that'll get its own video. But all the stuff that I got not at the swap while I was there is in this video. Yay! And then I came back, and now here we are. So now it's time to show you some pickups, shall we? The first thing I got this month, well, that's the first thing I got this month, but one of the first thing I'm going to show you, it's Herp Derp, a game called Mousetrap for the Intellivision. And if you're wondering, like, why the hell did you do that? I never really buy Intellivision stuff. I don't buy much second-gen stuff in general. But this caught my eye primarily because it's one of the Coleco cartridges for the Intellivision. That generation was weird, man. Companies were making games for their direct competition. Like, Coleco made this game, and they put it on the ColecoVision. Then I believe they probably also put it on the 2600, although I'm not 100% sure of that. But then they also put it on the Intellivision. I knew Coleco did this, I just didn't happen to have an Intellivision game made by Coleco. So I thought, that's funny to have in a collection, no big deal. Only paid like 50 cents for it, so what else you can get for 50 cents? That's a pretty cool deal. This game that I got right here, I was excited about. Somebody sent me a message about this, or like a comment at some point telling me this thing existed, and I was looking for it for like a really long time. I was like checking stores, I never found it anywhere. Eventually, I believe I just caved and I bought it online because I really wanted to get it. And I got it for $12. Okay, $12 US, and the game is called Cubed. Now, if you've never heard of it, don't feel bad. What it is a compilation of 3 Xbox Live arcade games, all put on one physical disc. If you guys know me, I'm not a proponent of digital games, only physical media. That's my opinion. Obviously, you don't have to share that. But this one comes with Lumens Live, which is Xbox One compatible, by the way, E4, Every, Extend, Extra, Extreme, and the reason I care, Res HD. Yeah, Sega's Res is on this disc, which is awesome. Even though it doesn't really mention them anywhere. Obviously, this was published by Atari, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, so definitely cool that this exists, and that's why I wanted it. Now, after I got it, I was all happy and satisfied, and then I went up to Canada, right? And I had never seen it there before. I had been looking. But this time, if this ever happened to you, you get a game, and then suddenly you find it everywhere. I swear, every fucking store we went into had Cubed. And they pretty much were all selling it for $10 Canadian, which is like $6.5, $7 USD. I was like, fuck! Like, I could have saved some money on it, but it's no big deal. I'm only out like a couple of bucks, but it was like, fuck, I could have done that better. So, yeah, I got it regardless, so that's cool. If E4 or hopefully Res HD are ever made Xbox One compatible, this disc will work with that, which is cool. Now, moving on, got some PS4 stuff. The first one is a game called Koralik, which I believe it's a European exclusive. I believe it was like I don't know anything about the game. I'm pretty sure it's a horror game. And it's narrated by Sean Bean, you know, the actor Trevelyan from GoldenEye. I'm sure most people now associate him with Game of Thrones, but yeah. But anyway, so my buddy Jake, aka Zebular, one of the guys who runs the Missouri Game Con, he sent me a link to this and said, like, you know, this is this European exclusive. Obviously, you like European exclusives, and this one is interesting because it just came out and it's expensive in Europe. But there was some guy on eBay in the States who had imported like a whole box of them, I guess, and he was selling them for a lot less money, brand new, sealed. So I was like, shit, I'll do that, you know, and I did. So there you go, Koralik. And of course, PS4 is region free, so no problem there. Next one up, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. This was absolutely free. Every once in a while, on my other channel, again, companies will like send us review copies of games so that we can make videos on them if we want to. And the guy who had this in his possession, he was done with it. He didn't really care anymore. I'm the only one in that group who actually cares about physical video games. So he was like, yeah, whatever, it's yours. So there we go, free copy of Uncharted 4. This one I pre-ordered for like, you'll laugh and you have every right to. Hatsune Miku Project Diva X. I'm sorry. The only reason I did is because it's a Sega title. As you guys know, I have a bit of a soft spot for Sega, just a little bit. But yeah, no, she had a couple. She, as if she's a person. Well, the character had, I believe it was 2 PlayStation 3 games, both of which I own. I don't care about that character, not in the slightest. But they are Sega properties. It is a Sega property, if you will. And as it happens, no surprise, the PS3 ones are actually relatively uncommon. So I figured, do it now, get it at Best Buy, get Gamers Club unlocked, all that, save some money on it, get it cheaper before it becomes this rare, stupid thing you don't want to have to track down later. Maybe a subset of all the Sega stuff on PS4 will be fun one day, because I imagine there's, what, 4 titles? Sega barely makes anything, sadly. Next up, a Wii U game. One of the few Wii U North American titles I still need. I actually have the vast majority of them now. Lego City Undercover. This is essentially, I'm sure a lot of you already know by now, but this is essentially Grand Theft Auto for kids, and it's a Wii U exclusive game. One of the few like quality third-party Wii U exclusives. One that people have been bugging me for years to get, and I really wanted to get it. It was just I never found it for like the right price. And then they did that Nintendo Selects version where it was like $20, and I was like, fuck that, because Nintendo Selects, Platinum Hits, Sega All-Stars, whatever the fuck you want to call it, I hate those damn greatest hits things. They're gross. They're like an infection inside of a collection. They look awful. But because there's more copies of that in circulation, I'm sure that's why this found its way into a used game store, and I was able to pick it up for not much, which is great. Next up, I got a whole swath of OG Xbox games I managed to find in a store, a bunch of them that I needed. All fucking cheap, so I'm just going to go through the list here. High Rollers Casino, Fight Night 2004, FIFA World Cup Germany 2006, FIFA Street 2, Evil Dead: A Fistful of Broomstick, or Boomstick, sorry, Counter-Strike, Cabela's Outdoor Adventures, Blitz the League, which was when Midway, after they lost the ability to do NFL games because EA bought out the NFL license. I'm guessing, I don't know this, I'm just guessing, that Midway was so far along into development of the latest NFL Blitz game, they didn't want to cancel it, so they just took out any NFL references and then released it. I also think this was the last one they ever did, and rest in peace Midway. They no longer exist. They were a developer in Chicago. It was awesome while they were here, and then they were bought out by Warner Brothers and moved out to Los Angeles, so we lost them. But yeah, that was, I think, the last Blitz game, although I could, actually no, I take that back. I think there was one on the 360. Never mind. Army Men, Sarge's War, Army Men, Major Malfunction. It's kind of cool to get both of them. Clearly, they probably came from the same guy who resold them at the store. And 25 to Life. Very cool. So, a bunch of OG Xbox to kind of chip off the collection there.
Sorry for the jump cut there, guys. I was editing and realized I actually missed something. This is a demo disc for Rainbow Six 3. Usually I don't care about demo discs all that much, but in this case, I saw it, the spine there, and it caught my attention. I was like, the hell's this? And it was like 99 cents. It was like nothing. I don't know what this originates from. I don't think this was ever sold. It must have been given away or packed in with something else. I'm not entirely sure. But the thing that I found that was kind of cool about it is that not only is it a demo disc, but it actually includes DLC for Ghost Recon Island Thunder and Splinter Cell. So Ubisoft put this out at some point. And yeah, basically if you pop this into your original Xbox, like a loader will come up, and you have the option of installing new missions for these games. Specifically, in the case of Ghost Recon, you can add Aurora, Riverbed, Roadblock, and Tank. Whereas with Splinter Cell, you can add Cola Cell, Veskel Infiltration, and Veskel. I'm sorry, I don't remember those particular missions. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. That was how DLC was done back then, guys. It was actually kind of, nice. Think about it, how weird this is. This is DLC physical on a disc. How cool is that shit?
Now, as I mentioned before, I was in Canada. I got a bunch of pickups there. Again, the swap stuff is not going to be here. This is just the other things. When I landed in Toronto, my buddy Scott the Canadian picked me up. And usually what we do is we'll just spend that. I'll always arrive in the morning, and then we'll just spend the whole day running around to like a bunch of game stores and just see if any of us find anything. Me because I'm the guest, him because when I'm there he has an excuse to spend a bunch of money. So we run around to a bunch of game stores and see what we can find. I went to a bunch of them, including We Got Games, which is obviously one of my favorite stores. I've done multiple videos on that place. Went to a new store called Games, which, forgive me, I'm not Canadian obviously, but I believe it was in a city called Oshawa. It was just called Games. We went to Videogame Exchange, or not Videogame Exchange, I'm sorry, Videogame Experts, sorry, I'm tired if that's not obvious. And of course we always, as always, we went to Toy Rat. I'll show specific examples as I go. So Toy Rat, I did the best at. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, I only had a backpack with me and a laptop case. So the amount of space I had to bring shit back was incredibly limited, which is kind of nice because then you can't do anything stupid. You know what I'm saying? You have to be very rational with what you're going to pick up. So in this case, I just got a couple of small items. He didn't have any Xbox stuff I needed, but what he did have that I needed was a bunch of GameCube stuff. I've started to get more into GameCube games, especially ones that didn't exist on the original Xbox or on the Dreamcast. So this is just some examples. Unfortunately, most of those games because they're like the Mario things, or they're a lot of kids crap, which is frankly what I've been looking at lately because that's all the cheap shit. But here we go. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure. Sadly, the disc on this is slightly damaged. It doesn't read perfectly, so I have to get it resurfaced. I know, right? How annoying is that? Jeremy McGrath, Supercross World. Tonka Rescue Patrol, which apparently is a complete GameCube exclusive, not a multi-plat of any kind. And Knockout Kings 2003, which for some reason didn't have an original Xbox release. I find that really odd, because usually it was the GameCube that got shafted on sports titles, not the Xbox. But there you go. So as I mentioned, we went to a game called Videogame, a store, sorry, that we went to called Videogame Experts. I did a video on that store a while back. You should go check that out if you want to see the place. While we were in there, I ultimately didn't get anything, but Scott did. He was looking around and he saw a boxed, complete copy of NHL 94 for the Super Nintendo. Now, you know, stereotypes, maybe because he's Canadian, you need a hockey game. I don't know, Scott. You tell me. Why did you get that? But nevertheless, he did. And so he already owned a loose cartridge of it, and so he just said I could just have the loose cartridge. So there it is. I added NHL 94 to my Super Nintendo collection. Thank you, Scott. Scott also did me another solid. He went up to another swap at some point. I believe it's called the Barry Videogame Exchange. I'm not sure. I have never been to it myself. And I gave him a list of a couple of things I was looking for, and he found one thing on the list, and he bought it for me. He didn't charge me anything because it's OG Xbox. It's all cheap. The game is V-Rally 3. Very cool to get that off the list because I never see this particular game, so I was really surprised. And then naturally, I saw it at the fucking swap. But whatever. So anyway, there you go. It's just like Cubed, man. It's as soon as you buy it or you have it, all of a sudden it floats around. You see it everywhere. I don't know. But another store we went to is called Retro Replay. I've also done a video on that store as well. Feel free to check it out. I just got one cheap GameCube game. Another one that's odd to me, FIFA Soccer 2002 Major League Soccer. Again, a sports title by EA that didn't come out on the Xbox, but did come out on the GameCube. And if you're going to look this up, there is actually a FIFA Soccer 2002 of some sort that is on the Xbox, but it turns out it's not the same game. It's like 2002 World Cup FIFA Soccer or something. Like, that's a different game, apparently. So, I don't know. I didn't make the rules. I didn't distribute this shit. I just tell you guys. And then, like I said, we went to that new store in Oshawa, again, I think it's Oshawa, called Games. And it was cool because I walked in and the guy like immediately recognized me even though I'd never been in that store. He's like, I'm sorry, are you Adam Koralik? I really like your videos. And I was like, you know, that's cool. It's always cool when this shit happens. But yeah, so I did actually find one thing in that store that I needed, and it was this, Bejeweled 3 for the Xbox 360. This is... it's not like a super awesome game that I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to play it. It's more like, as I mentioned with Cubed, I want to get a lot of the compilation games that came out on 360 that contain a lot of those digital arcade games put on discs. And this is just another example of one. It's got Bejeweled 3 and Bejeweled Blitz. Now granted, that's only 2 games, but it was only $10 Canadian, which is like $6 or $7 US. So with the slipcover, which I didn't even know it had a slipcover because I'd never seen a slipcover before, I'm not complaining. As a perfectly acceptable deal right there. So there you go. Now I got a couple other items here. I'm going to show you this one first. This is the Golden Axe vinyl record by Data Discs. This is record number 7 that they've done. I have all of them that they've ever put out. They do, if you're not familiar, they make vinyl records of a lot of Sega titles, previous Sega hits. Most of them for the Genesis, although they did do Shenmue. And it's just the music from the game but transcribed onto a vinyl record, which is very nice. And thank you again to a guy named Spock Avriel for hooking me up with a record player at one point so that I could actually listen to these damn things. Because the job they did on these is always really nice. They use a lot of Sega's masters and everything, and they get them to sound really good. My only criticism of it is not any fault of its own; it's mine. I didn't have no nostalgia for Golden Axe, so the music itself was just like, oh, cool, I guess. Like, the only song on there I even really recognized was like the one that I had heard a lot in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. So that was like, yeah, yeah, but that's bringing back memories of that game, not Golden Axe itself. I've beaten Golden Axe, but like one time, you know, it's not the fault of the vinyl. It's done perfectly well. It's just, you know, mine for not having any nostalgia for it. But regardless, got that, very cool. Then there's this thing. This is the ultimate in fucking coincidences. So you guys hopefully maybe saw my FrameMeister video. FrameMeister long story short, it's a box that helps make your old video games look better on your modern television. It uses a format called SCART, or at least that's one of the formats it supports. And I was recommending to people in that video that you should get a SCART switch box because the connection is very finicky with SCART. It can break very easily. I have one, but I needed a second one. And while I was in the a bunch of people in the comments very specifically said, hey, get one, but get this one called Bandridge. It's by a company called Bandridge. Make sure you get that, aka this one. And I was like, okay, sure, no problem. And I'm starting to look into it. And I'm talking to my buddy Scott, the Canadian. I'm just saying like, yeah, everybody's recommending this Bandra thing, this SCART switch box. I should get one of these. And he was like, well, hang on. And then he just takes a picture and he's like, yeah, I've got one. And I was like, you have one? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, that's cool. How do you like it? He's like, oh, I don't know. I've never used it. It's still sealed. And that's kind of amazing. And I was like, well, why do you have that? He's like, oh, I bought it a few years ago, but as it turns out, so this thing has 6 SCART ports on it, right? But you need a dedicated SCART-to-SCART end cable to connect this to anything. And he didn't have that particular cable because we live in North America, both US and Canada never had SCART. So for him to get the cable is kind of a hassle, and I guess he just didn't care enough. So this thing was just sitting around for years, apparently. And so I said, oh shit, maybe we can work out some sort of deal here. So I just traded him some stuff. I picked him up at like previous conventions and swaps, and instead of charging him, he just traded me this, and we were good to go. So I brought this right back up. So perfect, problem solved. But yeah, apparently this is like the best SCART switch box you can get. So that's really cool. And you know it's the best because it's got a motherfucking eagle on it. Right on. I don't get that, but it's fucking cool. So yeah, I'll open that up and tinker with it later. I don't usually show electronics, but the story behind that I thought was pretty sweet. Now, the last item I'm going to show you is neat just because of the story behind it. I went to the Missouri Game Con, as hopefully you guys saw the video there, and hopefully you guys saw the other video I shot there of the most insane fucking video game collection I have ever seen in my entire life. But when I was at the convention, I met up with a lot of great people who came out to meet me, which was fucking cool as shit. But one guy in particular, a guy named Justin, he actually drove up from Arkansas just to meet me. That's really flattering, really flattering. So thank you again, Justin. But this dude was not done. When we were at the convention, we were hanging out for a bit. We were just talking, and he asked me like what kind of games I'm looking for and stuff. And I started mentioning some things, and I didn't end up finding one of them in particular. And I get back home from the convention, as did he, and he sends me a message, and he's like, hey, that game you wanted, I bought it, I'm shipping it to you. And I was like, oh, dude, no. He's like, dude, I already bought it, it's on its way. Just give me an address. So I was like, all right, thank you very much. You don't have to do that, nobody has to do that, let's be very clear about that. But nevertheless, he did do that, and thank you to Justin for doing that. Now let's go ahead and show you what particular game he did get. Let's see. I always leave the scissors there on the table as an option, but I always like to see if I can get through it without it. Let's see. Can I do it? I think I can do it because this is one of those cardboard ones that just rips. Oh, I did it. I fucking did it. The game is... Well, now I might need the scissors because... Bubble wrap. Nope, don't need it. It's Frogger for the Sega Genesis. It's boxed, and it is complete. I see the manual, I see the cartridge, etc. Very cool. And if you're just like, dude, why the fuck did you want Frogger for the Sega Genesis, of all things? Like, there's so many other games in the world. Why that? Well, the thing about Frogger that's interesting to me, you may not know this, this is the last officially licensed release for the Sega Genesis in North America. This is it. This is where the Sega Genesis ended in the United States and Canada. Frogger. What's even funnier about that is that that's also where the Super Nintendo ended. That was Frogger, the same damn game, was the last Super Nintendo game in North America. Odd, right? But it is. It's how it went down. So I just thought it'd be kind of cool to start maybe a subsect of all these like last games that ever came out for consoles. So I actually found Frogger at the convention, but I found it for the Super Nintendo, but I couldn't find the Sega Genesis version. I found loose carts of Sega Genesis, but I don't really like to collect loose carts of Sega Genesis if I don't have to. But yeah, man, so Justin found it. He found it boxed, complete on eBay. He was like, it was really cheap. That's the other thing that's great about Frogger for both of them. Nobody wants it. It's not a valuable game. It's just a cool thing to have. Be like, I got the last Genesis game. I got the last Super Nintendo game. So that's really the reason I wanted it in the first place. So thank you to Justin for hooking me up with that, man. You really didn't have to do that. That was really cool of you. And yeah, I think that'll about do it, guys. So again, thank you to Justin, and thank you to the guys who run these stores. Thank you to Scott, the Canadian, for everything he did. Thank you for everybody who came out to a video game convention in New Jersey. Thank you to everyone who came out to the swap, etc. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all later.